I grew up in a country that was a little bit based on deficit of everything, of clothing and fashion in general. So you had majority of people wearing basically either the same fabrics or the same style of clothes. The rule was you were supposed to be as everyone else. My grandmother loved dressing up and she loved customizing her clothes, and she always had her own style. So I kind of was her, imaginary stylist when I was a kid. Sometimes I would add some lace on her blouse and it would become a completely new piece, and I was always interested in clothes. I always had this curiosity about, playing with things. You use curtains to make skirts, making sleeves out of pants. I would destroy more clothes than we actually create. I think collaboration and working with people is something I couldn't do without. It is so vital and important for me in the creative process. I started Vêtements with two friends. It was our kind of a hobby project. We didn't really think about it to become a business. We started working on reappropriation of clothing. We never really tried to create a new garment. We tried to take the garments that we liked, that were quite mundane and obvious, and to turn them into a Vêtements product. I always use an existing, authentic, generic garment as the first source of inspiration. That's the beginning of every collection, is the list of garments. I think there is beauty in different things that many people with a classic understanding of fashion consider quite ugly because they were either too big or too small or too long. It doesn't have to be pretty for us to like it, which is exactly what I like. I like questioning those kind of perceptions. I was surprised that such an established house would make such a, I would say, risky step to take somebody like me who worked on the aesthetic that was quite contradictory from the first sight to what Balenciaga until now stood for. The most important thing for me in this role would be to consider that history and to build the present and the future by staying as close as I can stay to my true self. Probably the time of my life that influenced me a lot as a person was filled with fear and, not knowing what would happen. We left behind everything we had. We just basically left with like a bag full of pictures. Walking through those mountains, I saw horrible things happening. But I think it raised in me the pragmatism and the idea of what is important in life. I have two jobs that are full of information and you need to process this information. I meditate every day and I erase everything that happened the day before. That's what I do by trying to kind of start every day with a new page. And because, it's just about clothes at the end of the day. So it's not necessarily something we look for every time, but we somehow end up very often having a laugh.